guys, welcome back to another What If. What if Deku was a werewolf part 2? So, our story starts off with Izuku Midoriya waking up, but he doesn't see Toga. Toga left during the night, and Deku tries to smell her, but he can't. She probably bathed. And yeah. And during this point, Toga, she went to the villain's lair to kill Eraserhead. And yeah, because they gave her an application in the part 1. So yeah. So she's mad, so she joins the villain league. She shows them her quirk and everything, and she tells them about the werewolf things and that. But she also says don't kill Deku, even though they need the blood of a werewolf to save All For One, because All For One's actually dying. And also his old master was a vampire. Yeah, One Fall's old master was a vampire. And yeah, and she wants to kill all the werewolf besides from Deku, but she wants to kill Deku too because he's the alpha. And Deku, he is just walking in the city just looking for her, but he gives up. So he goes to Class 1A. And everybody is shocked that this kid actually came, but his girlfriend didn't come. And Momo, she tried to talk to Deku, and Deku tried to ignore her, but they continued talking. And yeah. And Toga, she wanted to sneak on Deku and to see what he's doing, and she sees him talking to Momo and giving her a hatred to even more werewolves, that they are evil beings now and they don't want her with Izuku. They just want her with a human so they can eat her too, and that they're more evil, so she wants to become a vampire. So she goes to One Fall's master, but One Fall's master can't drink blood or it'll kill him because he's gone weaker. And so this other teenage boy had to bite her, and yeah. And this teenage boy was Dabi. I'm gonna say Dabi's now the same age as Izuku and Toga, and yeah. So Izuku and Momo become best friends in this because Deku never had a best friend. He always had a girlfriend, so you also have to have a best friend. And also Bakugo. And yeah. So it's now the hero versus villain test, and straight up, All Might just says this. Your teams will be Deku and Momo, Todoroki and Bakugo, and yeah, and you can all go into that building because most hero fights happen indoors. So yeah. So Izuku, he strategizes that he should at least call up to the high floor so you can defeat Todoroki and get the defense, because he'll know that Bakugo would want to fight him, because to see how strong I've got since the past few years. And Momo goes through the plan, so she's now going downstairs, and Deku is going upstairs. So Izuku, he turns into his big werewolf form like this, and this time he turns into this more of a silver color than usual, and yeah. And during this time, Toga now has a crush on Dabi because how ruthless he is, and that Deku was just now being a moron because of how he was thinking about his old childhood, about him wanting to become a hero. And yeah. So Izuku, his teeth get bigger. He literally just starts leaping to Todoroki, but Todoroki throws a bit of fire, but it doesn't even flinch Deku because this is an anime. Fire doesn't hurt anybody. He just goes through the fire just like a man, and then ice like knives come, and Deku starts matrixing them by going through them. Then he literally just grabs Todoroki's foot and does the Hulk move, where you see Loki just get swung around down to the ground, and yeah, and then he throws Todoroki out of the building. And Todoroki, he saves himself by using ice so he can land properly, or he would have broke his back and died. And Deku, he wins, and he literally just stomps down, and his superhero lands, and he says to Bakugo, "This is not over. Bakugo, I've been waiting for this. I want to see how strong you've gone." And he sees Momo, she's a bit hurt, and she's full of burnt stains on her costume already. And Deku, he says, "Go!" And he turns into a more larger werewolf than usual. And he literally just runs towards Bakugo. And Bakugo, he's getting ready to charge a massive explosion just by using his fist. And yeah, and this kind of explosion is like a nuclear. And Deku, he literally grabs Bakugo's hand where he was holding the explosion, and Deku takes the hit like a man. Like, he literally absorbed the shockwave. Then he just snapped Bakugo's hand, and Bakugo's all screaming, and then Deku literally jumps, and he goes through the floors, and he pins Bakugo down, and he says, "Bakugo, I thought you trained. I thought you were better than me. I was always quirkless, but now, all of a sudden, when I got my quirk, I've become the wiser one." And then Bakugo says, "I guess so." Then he pops his arm back, and they come out, and Deku, he starts Bridal style carries Momo. He has a bit of feelings for her, and she has a lot of feelings for Deku today. And yeah, so we skip around 4 days later, and it's now the hero versus I just did that. It's the USJ arc, and yeah, Izuku, before that day, he went into the forest and he met his pack, but he saw most of them killed because they said there's a vampire cult and they're ready to kill them, and some of the hunters were working with the vampires because the vampires hypnotized them. And there was only like around, if I say there was around 500 of them there in the forest, but you wouldn't see them. Around 300 died. So it was like 250 of them still alive. And yeah. And Deku, he feels heartbroken that he wasn't there to save his people. And he saw that the Alpha died, the old one, and that Deku is now officially the Alpha that they have to follow. And then Deku, he says, "Okay, then I have to attack first." Straight after the USJ trip. So it's the next day. Deku, he created security cameras, and he put them all over the woods so he can protect his people whilst he's actually in USJ, so we can know their signal where they burn a tree, their favorite tree for the best alpha, and that's means to signal that the vampires have come. And yeah. So Deku, he's in the school trip and he sits next to Momo and they're chatting like they actually know each other. They got so much in common. And yeah. So Deku, he leaves and during this while he leaves the bus and him and Momo were actually holding hands and then they separate their hands and everybody says, "Ooh, new girlfriend." And Deku says straight away, "She's not my new girlfriend." And he said, "Nobody will replace Toga." And Momo, she stops blushing and yeah. And then Deku, he smells something and there's this purple portal with a hand coming out. And it's Shigaraki. And Shigaraki, he comes out and then a guy dressed in a black and a red cape with kind of a bluish and black hair came with scars on his face. And he's got pointy teeth. And Deku instantly knew this guy is a vampire. And he's got 5 vampires with him. And those 5 vampires is Toga. And the other 4 are like, I don't know. They're vampires, alright? They work with him. And this Darby kid is like, he's the grandson of Dracula and he's heir to the throne of Alpha. And yeah. So Izuku, he howls and then a group of wolves come and also a group of dogs from nearby. And it becomes a vicious battle and everybody's like, werewolf versus a vampire? What the hell? And then Shigaraki calls in the Nomu and the Nomu just beats the crap out of Eraserhead. And Eraserhead's bleeding all over. He even breaks Eraserhead's skull multiple times. And Eraserhead's about to die, but Deku jumps in and he stabs the Nomu with his nails into its brain and just rips it apart and starts infesting and eating. And then everybody sees Deku's true colors, like he's a monster. And all the animals just come and they start like battling with the vampires. And the vampires are just trying to bite them. And then they say, "I guess we have to go extra hard." Then they get their demon wings and they start flying around like bats. And yeah, they're stabbing the wolves with the pointy edges with venom. And a bit of vampires just come back, and now there's like around 20, and there's only 2 werewolves because the other 3 died, and Deku and another werewolf. And then Toga, she appears in front of Deku and she says, "We can just run away and we can go." And Deku says, "What have you become? A monster? A villain? You're not Toga I know." And Toga is saying, it is me, Izuku." And Deku, he steps back and he bumps into Momo, and Momo blushes, and then Toga sees Momo and she's like, "You're with her." And then Deku says, "No, I'm not." And then Toga, he starts choking Deku, and Momo says, "Leave him alone," and she creates a bow and she hits it in Toga's head, and Toga snaps the bow and she starts trying to fight Momo, but Momo is more skilled in combat than in normal. And yeah, Todoroki, he comes in, he throws fire at her and she starts burning. And Deku, he says, "Leave her alone, don't burn her." And Todoroki's like, "What do you think? I have to burn her. She's a villain." And then Deku just realized that she is a villain and she has to pay. She killed his people. And yeah. So Deku, he turns on full-on beast werewolf and he starts fighting Toga, and Toga turns into a ultimate vampire, which she becomes a bat woman, I guess, and she starts growling as a bat, and the bat is the same size as the wolf but with wings, and they're just fighting in the air. And Deku's like, "Give her back to me," and he realizes that she's in hypnosis from Dabi, and he launches off from her, and then he Strike attacks Dabi from behind whilst he was fighting Bakugo, but Bakugo was about to get beaten up, and then Deku punches the vampire, and Dabi's like, "Oh, you want to fight with me? I also have a quirk." And then he starts throwing his cremation quirk, and Deku starts dodging like Matrix, and then Deku, he's like, "Ugh, I need to take this guy away." Man, he remembers reading this old ancient werewolf book. It's like the ancient werewolves from the Egyptian time used to use this. They used to freeze time, then they used to expose their gamma radiation, and then Deku does that. He freezes time, and then this green aura just shines beyond him, and then everything comes back to time, and everybody's like, "What the?" and explodes. And Dabi's not more weaker, and Deku literally just launches up on him and starts repeatedly punching and punching and punching and punching. Toga comes and she charges at Deku, doing a spear into Deku's ribs, breaking them. And then 250 werewolves come and they start jumping off from the dome, and they're like, "Leave our Alpha alone." And everybody's like, "Alpha?" And then Izawa, he's okay now because Deku killed the Nomu by doing the thing with splitting the brain, and he tells Ito that he's fast enough to go to UA and get the teachers and the heroes. And yeah, 1 hour later, All Might busts through and he just slides down, and he just sees Toga as a vampire, but he's never met her, so he thinks it's just like a Numu. So he goes full on Plus Ultra, and he starts doing the fists that he did to the Numu like 250 times without us seeing it. And Deku say, "Don't touch her!" And then he literally uppercuts her in the air, smashing her through the dome. And he does Plus Ultra, and the one fall bounces and through the stars, and then it goes into the gold one, and then he punches and explodes her into space. And Deku, he catches her about when she's about to go to space, and she turns back to human, and he sends her back into a different woods, and he lays her there next to a river and to leave her there. And he straight up comes back and he starts beating up All Might for doing that. And then Aizawa, he let me say that. Shall I say werewolves do have werewolf is a quirk or not? No, it's not a quirk. So Aizawa stops Izuku with his ropes. And Izuku snaps the ropes and he's like, oh, I thought they were like titanium. What's going on? And then Deku just repeatedly, but it's just scratch. It's not stabbing All Might where he got injured with All For One. And he's drinking and Deku realized this. And then Deku throws All Might out of the window saying, she meant everything to me. And then everybody's like, stop it, Deku. And then Deku stops all the villains. And Dabi, he leaves and he says, that girl of yours, she was very a nice kisser. And this makes Deku even more mad, but he teleports out. And all the villains, and Momo goes to Deku and she raises her hand on Deku's palm and Deku becomes a full-on human and he's full-on naked and she doesn't look and Deku hugs her but she hugs him back and yeah. So I think, should I end it here? Because I want to do another part, I think, today in the nighttime. So I don't have to do anything for tomorrow. So I can have schoolwork. Now, let me say that Toga, she woke up. Dabi came and she hugged Dabi because Dabi hypnotized her so she can be his lover. And yeah, and they kill Izuku Midoriya. And she can't get out of that hypnotism besides from Dabi saying it himself. And yeah, so they all go back to the base and now she's Dabi's new girlfriend. And after what Dabi said to Deku, he's now left his tribe. His tribe has now abandoned him. And he said, don't bother yourself living here. The best wild places in Africa. So they all travel to Africa, all the wolves, and they go to the jungle or the safari. And people are like, what? And sometimes they go to Antarctica, Canada. They spread around the world. And yeah. And Deku, he quits being the ruler of Alpha. He burns the whole woods down. And yeah, he quits going to UA. And the Momo's now accompanying him. Deku bought an apartment. They're now boyfriend and girlfriend after what he heard about Toga. And that he's never gonna date her again. And that he should have known that she was a villain, so yeah. So Deku and Momo are now a thing, a bit, and yeah. And that's where I'm going to leave it off. Our next part is going to be for the sports festival and another arc if I get there. So see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below for any ideas, like any story arc, because I'm going to give you a little heads up. They're going to be line shifters, where these are like the king of the safari, and then the king of the tamed animals and all that, and then they with the gorillas, the shapeshifters, and yeah. And then Deku's gonna rule them all at one point, and they're gonna fight the vampires, I think, or a new threat. So, goodbye.